Hi Kritika, this is Pramit from Digital Mafia Talkies. I have watched all the episodes of Gyaarah Gyaarah, and as a huge sci-fi fan, especially जिसमें थोड़ा time manipulation रहता है, I really enjoyed it, and your performance in it was really great. So my
Promise.
first question to you is that how were you approached for this role, and how did you prepare to become Vamika?
I approached the role. I auditioned for it. I got to know that they were casting for a show like Gyaarah Gyaarah, and I had just finished playing a gangster. So for me, it was interesting to explore the other side of things, where I could maybe get an opportunity to work as a to play an upright cop, and that's exactly what happened. I gave an audition, and the makers liked it, and then I was sent the script to read. I met Guneet and Umesh sir, and things fell in place. I don't know, must be I'm sure it was Gyaarah Gyaarah even then, because it's definitely a wish come true.
And did you watch the South Korean series to prepare for the show, or did you distance yourself from it so that your interpretation can come first?
No, so we were obviously aware of the big success that Signal is, and this is an official adaptation of the Korean drama. But I decided not to watch it, and even my director was on board with that idea. We wanted to approach this character as an original character, to have a fresh take, because no matter what you do, once you've seen something, uh, that reference is always going to impact your performance or your choices of the character as an actor on set. And we didn't want that. We wanted Vamika to be original. And anyway, when you take these characters and you put them in the Indian context, Indian culture, they change drastically. So I want Vamika to be somebody that the audiences relate with or connect with. It's not based on or is inspired by any on-screen character.
And something that I found very fascinating about your character is that you were always the one who is reminding everybody of the protocols and de-escalating, while your male counterparts are more trigger happy and like they're doing all kinds of gali galoch. So was that interesting for you too?
Yes, it was. I think, especially because, women in the police force, firstly, that's a rare thing. And it's a profession where valor and your physical strength is celebrated, and for good reason. And that's there. But I think it shows you also how a cool-headed mind, a strategic approach can really get things done. And I think that women are very good at that. So that's something that Vamika brings to the table, and it's very important. Also, it's something that she's learned from her career in the force. She's been there 15 years. She knows the system. She knows that you can get really excited or like, try to bypass it or oppose it, but that's not going to get you anywhere. If you want to do something about it, you got to be in it and work the system. So that kind of uh, political understanding that she has really comes in handy every time that you goes a little uh, haywire. And I think it's a great balance, because you have that passion and emotion in Yug's character. You have the pragmatism and wisdom in Vamika, and you have the brute strength in Shaurya. So I think together they make for interesting characters to watch.
And talking about like relatability, I found that even while you're doing so much sci-fi stuff is happening, but you're
Yeah.
also still dealing with shadi ka pressure. So were you a little annoyed that even in a sci-fi show you're being pressured
No,
to get married?
absolutely not, because these are the things that make the show Indian. This is how
Yeah.
it's different from its Korean counterpart, because these are things that are very real in our society. She's someone who's had a kind of sad past. She is lonely. You can sense that there is some inner turmoil in her throughout, but duty, of course, takes priority at all times. It's so natural. I would totally imagine that in a small town in India, and to me as well. I come from a small town. These are very normal conversations. I'm sure, like people ask my parents also, "Ki aapki beti kab shadi karegi" or whatever. So that wasn't annoying at all. That made the character more real and relatable, and that's how it is original. Which is why I never saw this as a remake or an adaptation at all.
And I think your role is the most complex because the rest of the characters are in their own timelines, but you are in both the timelines. So, what was it like tracking the evolution of your character, especially if the show is not shot like chronologically?
It was really rewarding. I love these challenges. I think I look for them. I seek them out. I think the fact that she's in both the timelines, where I have to also, like, you can look and behave uh, young as a rookie, underconfident officer, and then in the present timeline you see me leading a team and already like very sure of myself, very confident in the space that I am. That journey, and also because so much happens in her life professionally and personally, that was a long graph. Generally we always graph our characters, specifically in series, because it's a long journey. So you know in your head at all times, because nothing is shot chronologically. Everything is done according to geography and location, so you have to do that exercise in your head again and again. But with this one, because in the same episode I had to do past also and present also, I had to keep coming and going, going back and forth. And that was a good challenge. It really kept me on my toes, and I had to actually map out her life and figure out what all would have happened to her emotionally and professionally, and why has she become this person that she is today. At the same time, keeping sure that it looks like an extension of the same person and not two disconnected characters. So
And what
really,
was your
really very satisfied as an actor. I hope people like it.
yeah? And I was going to ask, like, what was your collaboration with Umesh like? Like, what was some director's notes that's going to stay with you throughout your career or something like that?
I'm very touched by his approach. He's one of the kindest directors I've met. He is a really gentle and sensitive person. It comes out, if you see his previous film, Paglet, it's very evident that he's a sensitive director. And even though you think this is a crime drama, it's got this sci-fi fantasy element, but it's also a human drama. And a story only works if its characters work and the interpersonal relationships work. And those work beautifully only because of him. I also really liked the fact that he's truly collaborative. Like he's not generally actors have to mold themselves as per the director's process, but in this case, the director was sort of like tailoring his approach as per his actors. So the direction that he would give to Raghav in a particular scene with me would be different from the direction that I had got from him. He knew exactly what worked for each one of us and used that beautifully to take out, to extract the best performance out of us. And that's special. People don't give you that kind of space. That's generally the other way around. You have to match up to the director.
And halfway through the show, like you, Raghav, Nitesh, and Presha kind of become a unit. So, what was it like building that chemistry? Like, were there workshops, rehearsals, on the set stuff?
I had worked with the late Nitesh Pandey before this in a TV show, Kuch To Log Kahenge. So I knew him. I was very fond of him. I am very fond of him. He's unfortunately not with us now. But during the shoot, we had some great times. There was a lot of banter. There was a lot of, again, improvisation. He also brings in this Pahari dialect in his performance, which was very interesting to watch. So some good times and some good khana in the hills.
And this is not your like first foray into supernatural fantasy stuff. Like you have done Ektinayaka and Chandrakanta bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how big of a fan are you of this genre? And like, do you have any recommendations for us?
I am honestly not a very big fan of the genre, except, of course, Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. I mean, come on. There is just nothing better in this genre. But Gyara Gyara is not really that. It's not, it's not that kind of fantasy. But in the fantasy genre, these two, there's nothing that touches them.
And like if you got like I'm sure this question has been asked to you multiple times, but if you got the chance to talk to someone in the past for like 1 minute, like you does, who will it be and why?
If it's only for a minute and if it's just once, I think it'd be either of my grandparents, perhaps. It'd be somebody I knew. It'd probably be to say goodbye or to say something, or just to know how they're doing, or if wherever they are in the multiverse.
And my final question to you is that what are some of the thoughts and opinions that you want audiences to walk away with, like regarding the show's messages and themes after watching Gyara Gyara?
Without spoiling it, since you've seen the whole show, I think the one question that I'm also wondering and I want them to think about is, where is Vamika? That's an important question in the scheme of things. The other question that's an interesting question generally, also from a philosophical point of view and also from a quantum physics point of view, is what is time? If past is memory and future is something we haven't experienced yet, then is there anything except present, and what is it to be in the present? So I think these make for nice never ending conversations anyway. And I hope that people ponder on these.
All right. Thank you for having me, Kritika. I absolutely loved your performance in this, and like in Mumbai Meri Jaan, I absolutely loved your performance in that as well.
Pramit, that means a
So
lot.
all the best for this show and anything you do in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.